if you watch the Tinder Swindler documentary, you may be familiar with a man who manipulated women he met on dating apps out of thousands of dollars. Well, there's other romance swindlers out there, and our next guest says she fell victim to one of them. Before we chat with Christina LaBarbiera, take a look at what happened.
Last spring, Christina LaBarbiera was swiping on a dating app when she came across Rob Harris's profile.
It was very easy and we had very good banter because he does come off, like he has a big personality and he's funny, and we quickly went then to texting and phone calls and all that.
The chemistry between them was almost too perfect.
He came off too nice, too interested. And at the time, you're like, wow, this feels so right because, we're being open with each other, and it's, you feel like it's transparency, because that's what I felt with him. I thought he was just very transparent.
After talking on the phone for 2 weeks, the two met in person for their first date. And that's when Rob asked if she'd be open to moving to Florida.
So he had said, he goes, I just want to let you know, be upfront, that I am planning on going back down there. And if this, were to go anywhere, this is on the first date he now adds this in, that, would that be something that you'd be open to? And at the time, I actually was going to get my Florida license, which I now have. So I said, yeah, I'm definitely open to it if this goes somewhere.
After a few months, Christina and Rob went down to Florida to look at condos together.
He had told me that he was putting an offer in on the condo that we both really liked.
Then he started asking Christina for money.
His theory behind everything was, I'm putting the offer on this condo, and obviously I can't put this on my card. Can I, borrow this money from you?
Wow. To tell us what happened next, please welcome to the show, Christina. Christina, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for being here. So many questions. Let's jump right in. You said Rob started asking you for money. What were some of the different reasons that he said he needed this money?
Well, at first it was, I'm extending the Airbnb for us. And again, it all had to do with the fact he was applying for this loan. He didn't want to show the lender. He was being extravagant still, which is common practice. Another reason was he needed bail money, which was a story he had built up for 4 or 5 months. Another large sum of it was a networking event we were supposed to have down in Florida, because I actually became licensed down there. So I was paying for a yacht charter, I was paying for food, I was getting people, put in place to have this event in November.
Wow. So it says $70K up there. Is that how much he took in total from you? How much did you give him?
In total, yes, in total. All small sums leading up to that.
Yeah, wow.
I really appreciate your transparency, because this is going to help so many people, because it seems like everything he was saying to you was plausible in a way.
Right.
He had a story for everything. He was prepared. I was prepped. I was conditioned. I was exploited. I was targeted, manipulated. I mean, at one point I thought he was refunding me, and it turns out he ended up charging $6,500 to my credit card for a drink concert that he said he had tickets to for 4 or 5 months.
So it was a long-term con. Well, let's just ask you, when did you find out that Rob was being arrested? Oh, excuse me. When did you find out he was lying about being arrested? Excuse me.
That was when he was supposed to come up here for a supposed court date, and he just never showed up to the airport when I picked him up. This was midnight, Newark Airport, and I didn't hear from him for 3 days, and the story was just crazy. He was robbed at gunpoint, and then all of a sudden there was something with a unregistered gun charge, and he had 3 days to make up a good story. So at this point I was like, okay, this is just nuts. I called my attorney, and I just started kind of speaking to him differently and trying to see if, at this point, could I play nice and hopefully get my money back?
Right. Tactics like this. You also went to the police, which I totally understand after this, but they couldn't help. Let me ask you this. When you tried to serve papers to sue Rob, what happened?
So the police could help. They just didn't want to do the work and put the warrant out.
Right. Got it.
That's what happened. So when I went to go sue him civilly at the address that I thought he lived at, you get an email response back from the process server, and the response said, his ex-girlfriend said that he is now in Miami. So he was living with someone else the whole entire time.
Wow. I can't imagine how many victims. So what is the latest update on this case? Can you fill us in?
Yeah, so the warrant finally is out for him.
Good.
It's 2 charges of credit card fraud, 1 for theft. He actually flew back up here from Miami to New Jersey about 2 weeks ago, claiming he was going to turn himself in to my detective. And because they took too long, he flew back down to Miami. And now I have a lot of eyes on him. And I would not be surprised if he's arrested down in Miami and he has to wait for transport to New Jersey pretty soon.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, you have DBL viewers' eyes also.
Good.
Yes. This is a billion-dollar business, I've heard. So what do you want people to be aware of from your experience?
Well, I think the thing is, it's not just dating sites. You know, it's everywhere. Everyone is pretending to live this life they're not. Things are so accessible as far as, you know, internet scams, people calling you for extended warranties. I think you really just have to protect yourself. And also, it sounds sad to say, but you really have to be careful and you have to keep your guard up. And these people target vulnerable people, and usually a woman in a relationship is someone that's vulnerable. I mean, I was one of 3 people he was dating at one time that I've connected with.
Good.
I hope you get your money back
Me too.
somehow. Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you.
Christina, thank you
you
for your transparency, for joining us today and sharing your experience. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you. Take care.